it's your girl Kia, aka the Concrete Rose, and I'm back with another video. Small disclaimer, I'm still in the same outfit that I was in my last video, because my last video was a late night chat. I filmed that when I was on my way to work, because I work third shift. So now it's the morning time and I'm on my way from work. So that's why I'm still in the same outfit. But I wanted to talk to you guys about releasing the idea of being a good person, and how clinging onto this idea of being a good person and trying to be perceived as a good person, like, kind of makes you shitty. So yeah, basically, before I started my spiritual journey, before I embarked on my spiritual journey, before I got thrown on my spiritual journey, okay, I was very toxic. Like, I was not what you consider, like, I mean, I wasn't a bully, I wasn't terrible, like, I wasn't going around just like shitting on people, but I was very toxic. Like, I was that friend that always lived in victim mode. I could never see where I was wrong in the situation. You know, I just was very, like, clouded with my own emotions. I was that friend that if you ever hit me up, like, hey, what you doing, what's going on, I'm sending you paragraphs about how I'm so depressed and life is terrible. And like, I was that type of friend. I was that type of person. I was very toxic. Like, I did shit that I'm not proud of, you know, and all of those things, right? And so after going through my spiritual awakening, after my psychosis, after having like a near-death experience, I was like on this like kick of like, I have to be a good person. I have to be a good person. I want everyone to know that I'm a good person. Like, I want to make it into heaven. Like, I don't want to burn in hell. You know, like, it was that type of energy. And so I was trying so hard. I remember like writing on social media, like writing on my Instagram stories, like, I'm so sorry to anyone I ever hurt. You know, I remember like I was texting exes, y'all. Like, I was literally like on this whole kick of like, I need to tell anybody that I've ever hurt, I'm so sorry for hurting them. Like, I felt so guilty. And I felt like I needed people to know that I was a good person. I needed people to know, like, hey, I'm changing. Like, I'm not that toxic person anymore. And what I realized, or what I've been learning, because this isn't a conclusion that I came to myself. Like, I have just been watching like different creators and, you know, different like YouTubers and stuff who are also on this spiritual journey and who are also going through these paradigm shifts. And a topic that keeps coming up is being perceived as a good person, wanting to be perceived as a good person, and how it kind of makes you fake. It makes you like, you know, at the end of the day, like, I'm a fucking human being, and some days you're gonna catch me on an off day, some days I'm not. I'm a pop fly with you, you know, like, I'm gonna have a little short attitude with you and things like that, because I'm a human being and I'm trying to get better at that. And that's part of the healing journey, you know, getting better, realizing and being aware of when you see negative patterns show up in your life. You know, that's the whole point of healing and of growing. But this idea that I have to be a good person, for one, what does it even mean to be a good person? What does it mean for you to be a good person? Because everyone's definition of good and bad and right and wrong is different. You know, it's different. So I feel like we have to release this idea of like having to show up and be perceived, because that's the thing. Like, we're looking for people to perceive us as something. That's the whole point of like why we have aesthetics and why we make our Instagram feeds look a certain way, why we make, you know, why we just have a certain look about us, why we dress a certain way and things, because maybe some of us want to be perceived in a certain way. You know, I'm not saying everybody, but some of us, especially coming from trauma, coming from being the people pleaser, coming from, you know, toxic ways, you know, we may have this idea that, okay, now I'm healing. Now I want people to know that I'm a good person. I need people to know that I'm a good person. I need people to know that I'm changed. I need people to know that I don't think that way. I don't talk that way. Like, I need this. I need this. I need people to know that I'm a good person. And then that takes you out of your humanness. That takes you out of having the opportunity to make mistakes and to learn and to grow. Because if you're just this cookie cutter ass person and you never make any mistakes and you never say anything wrong and you never step on any toes and you never, it's just like, girl, you really ain't living in your truth. Like, you're really not authentic. Like, you're really not real. You're just trying to look a certain way for people, but you know that you really don't like that person. You don't really want to go to that space. You really don't talk like that. You know these things. You know these things about you. But because you're trying to be perceived as this good person and as this cookie cutter person, you're like hiding yourself from the world. And it's just like, the days of that are over with, bro. Like, the days of trying to be perceived in a certain light, like, nigga, just show up as you. Show up as you, and people that respect you and love you will come to you. Like, they will present themselves to you. Like, you don't have to be in this straight line and have this perfect posture all the time. And so that's just what I was reflecting on this morning, is that I don't have to be perceived as this good person. Like, what I know about myself is I know that I'm healing. I know that I'm becoming a better person. When I wake up in the morning, I thank God for another day, and I tell God, like, I'm going to try my best. I'm going to try my best to just do my best. And some days I fall short on that. Some days I don't always show up in my best. Some days I kind of show up in a good light. Some days I show up all positive and I'm just love and light all day. And some days it's not like that. It's not like that all the time. Sometimes you don't want to be the one complimenting everybody. Sometimes your ass need a compliment. Like, it's little stuff like that where I feel like after going through trauma, we put this, especially like spiritual psychosis, where we feel like either we're gonna be good and get into heaven, or we're gonna be bad and burn in hell. Like, when it comes to those type of extremes, it can be like this heaviness on your shoulders of like, I have to be a good person. I have to be a good person. What I know about myself is I'm not out here fucking with nobody, okay? I'm not out here hurting nobody, intentionally hurting nobody. What I do know is that there are still people out there to this day that have a version in their head of me that no longer is alive. Like, they literally have a version in their head of me as this toxic, terrible, shitty person. But what I do know is there are people right now to this day that have a version in my head as this beautiful, loving soul, this beautiful light, this person that's positive and loving. And it's like, focus on the people that recognize your light even in the midst of your darkness. Focus on those people. And people that are committed to misunderstanding you, people that really do think that you're a terrible person, release those people. And even if you're the person that's beating yourself up, feeling like, man, I'm this terrible person, or if I don't show up in this specific way, then that means that I'm a bad person, release that. Release that. Release this idea of having to show up in a certain way so people can perceive you in a certain way. Niggas that really love you and that are here to see you will see you. They will see you. Even with all the filth on you, even after you done been dragged through the mud, even after you done shown up in your darkest time, baby, okay? The people that are meant to see you will see you. Period. You don't have to, like, overdo it. You don't have to work so hard. Like, you don't have to work so hard, you know? So, yeah, y'all, that's just something that I was reflecting on. I hope that it made sense, baby. Okay, because I don't really know. But yeah, y'all, I love y'all. Like, the days of trying to impress people, the days of trying to get people to perceive us in a certain light, that shit is done. That shit is over with. It's tiring. It's tiring, and it's draining. It's energetically draining. Just focus on becoming a better person. Focus on becoming a better person. That's all you gotta do. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect. You know, you don't have to earn people's love. You don't have to dress a certain way, look a certain way, talk a certain way to earn people's love. And if there's somebody in your life that's making you feel that way, that's making you feel like, oh, if I don't have this thing on, if I don't talk this way, if I don't believe in this thing, then they won't like me. Those are not your people. Those are not your people. If you have anybody that you feel like you have to pretend in front of, that you feel like you have to put a mask on in front of, because y'all, sometimes the mask will literally get glued to our fucking face. Like, the mask will start to merge with us. You know, like, you ever keep telling yourself a lie over and over and over again, and you eventually start to believe it? Like, bitch, that is delusion. Okay? Delusion. Stop. Just stop. Stop trying to look a certain way for this world and just show up as you. That is what I'm learning, and that is what I'm implementing, and that is the lesson that I am integrating, y'all. So, yes, I hope this message helped somebody. I hope it brought some light to your day, and I hope it helps you move forward in authenticity and in realness, and anything fake, anything that's not you, let that shit go. Release that shit and move accordingly. All right, y'all. Peace and blessings. Until next time. Bye.